You're good.
All right. Good evening, Sober Soldiers Recovery family. My name is Jessica. I'm in recovery.
Jessica.
Hello. Welcome to the Sober Soldiers live recovery meeting. We are not affiliated with any 12-step program. We believe God and recovery must come first, and recovery can be found in many various ways. We have a few announcements to cover before we get this meeting started. Testimony Tuesday, November 25th. Jenny Frable, Susan Hartley, and myself will be giving a short 20-minute testimony. So if you guys want to head over to Destiny Church in Valley Junction, that's where we will be doing that. Thanksgiving, breaking bread. So Thanksgiving Day, Thursday the 27th, we're going to do a Thanksgiving Day meal. It's going to be at First Church of the Open Bible at 2200 Beaver Avenue in Des Moines, and the doors are going to open at 3 o'clock. If you want to come and eat with us, you can bring something to share with everyone if you like. If you know anybody who wants to maybe donate their leftovers after a big meal, donate leftovers after a big Thanksgiving meal, they can always take it there to help with that. But the Thanksgiving breaking bread is open to everyone. So if you have friends, family, just somebody on the street that you see that you don't want them to be alone on Thanksgiving Day, just invite them over. Like I said, doors open at 3 o'clock, and we will do the main meal at 7. And then I think TJ is planning on putting on the football game. So it's a good time just for fellowship, for people to not be alone on the holidays, and maybe bring a few in to find their chair if possible. So our meeting is shared on Facebook Live for those unable to attend in person. If you do not get the opportunity to share during the meeting, please feel free to jump on the group page and share on the live event, or just share on the page. Everyone's recovery is valuable to this recovery family. Recovery is not a one-size-fits-all. Please speak into the microphone so people online can hear you. If you choose not to share, please at least share your name and your recovery time so we can get to know you. We here in the Sober Soldiers community celebrate every day as a victory. Please keep your share to about 3 minutes so everyone gets a chance to share. As you see, we keep a chair in the center of the room that Benji's going to put there right now. For those still out there sick and suffering, and the family member suffering along with them, praying one day they find their chair. So we'll have a moment of silence followed by the Lord's Prayer. Whose Father? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. So, hi again, Jessica, and I have 268 days in recovery today. So I thought about what I wanted the topic to be tonight, and I had, like I always do, a lot of good ideas come to mind, and then 5 minutes before they just all kind of leave me. And I think that's just because God lets me kind of go through my day, reflect on what's happening in my life, maybe kind of ruminate on what maybe I feel is valid to share with other people. And then it all goes away, like, because it's not my plan, it's God's plan, like always. So what he's put on my heart tonight is just being, I don't even have the words. It's doing kind of just what you need to do, regardless if you want to do it or not. Because God's plan is always calling us to do something. It's calling us to move forward. It's calling us to sometimes do things that don't even make sense as to why they're doing them, but we know that we must. And a lot of that, I feel like, has to do with trusting the process. So I'm going to throw all of that kind of out there and take what you want from it. But today I had a situation where I was supposed to go to court. I've been in a custody battle with my children, with their dad, and I had a court date today.
he was gonna try to get full custody of them. And since my recovery, my steps have been I've closed my DHS case. My children now live with me Monday through Friday. They attend school in Des Moines, and we've created a life where they have community built on church and friendships in a sober community. And a year ago, I was freshly charged with domestic violence. My children were not allowed to be with me alone. I was not a safe person for them to be around. So trusting the process this last year to have God reunite me with my kids has been like huge. And it's been trying for me because I like control. I like to know where things are going. I like to know where things are heading. Um, and for all intents and purposes, I should have been racked with anxiety today. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if I was even supposed to be there. I hadn't gotten served my paperwork, but I just knew through the small town grapevine that I had a court date and I showed up. And nothing happened. And I'm glad that I didn't spend all day anxiety ridden over it, because I showed up 6 hours early because I didn't have the correct time. I drove an hour and a half from Des Moines back to my home county. And like, it should have been like this massive day where I was breaking down and everything was wrong and I couldn't get to where I needed to be. And I prayed and prayed and prayed and asked God just to take my anxiety from me, just to help me trust him, help me lean on him in this process. And I was able to go hang out with my mom for a few hours, and I got to do a couple of errands while I was around. And I mean, I looked good doing it because I was all dressed up for court, but just it wasn't a day full of this didn't happen. It was a day full of opportunity and a day full of I got things done and things worked out. My children are still going to be with me Monday through Friday, and they still get to go to school in Des Moines. And it's like, a year ago, I would have been losing my absolute mind and nothing was right. And today I just kind of put my hands up and was like, whatever happens, happens. And whatever comes today is I'm going to deal with it. So trusting the process and not trying to take control. It feels really good. And it's taken me this last year to learn how to let go and just trust God that God knows what he's doing. Because if I tried to do it Jessica's way, my children wouldn't live with me right now. I'll tell you that much. If I tried to do it Jessica's way, I would be still angry. I would be still hurting. I would still be hurting other people. I would still be blaming other people for all of the trouble that I caused with my active addiction. But because I was able to let go, I was able to forgive, I was able to trust. They're sitting here in this room tonight getting to watch me open a meeting. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, so I just kind of want to hear you guys, obviously open topic if there's anything else on your heart you want to share tonight. But just kind of if you're struggling with something to let go of, or if you're struggling with something on, moving forward, or trying to just trying to make peace with the fact that you're not in control. If anybody wants to share on that tonight, I'd be eager to hear what the group has. So with that, I'm going to pass.
I get it, huh?
Uh-huh.
My name is Benji. I'm in recovery, and I am just a week shy of 10 months. So, what was it, Sunday? Sunday we were headed to church, and this kind of, I feel like, relates to your topic. We're on our way to church, and I was just sitting there, just thinking back on this past year. Basically from January, from the day I got sober, which is January 24th of this year, up to now. And then looking back at where I was in November of last year, just getting caught from being on the run for 9 months and, thinking I was going to go to prison, and by the grace of God, I didn't. I didn't even spend a whole lot of time in jail thinking, I figured, the 9 months I was running, I was just like, I'm going to prison when I get caught, and that's all there is to it. and that didn't happen. So on Sunday on the way to church, I was sitting here thinking about growth. How far not only me and Jess have come, but her kids as well. Um, and it's all because we gave our lives over to God. Uh, and for me, it was really easy, because I was in jail when I surrendered to God. Um, I got down on my knees, and all the shame and the guilt and all the stuff that I had been sitting there holding on to after my dad passing in 2016, that all went away. And so when I went into inpatient treatment and I got out of inpatient treatment, I had a lot of time between jail and treatment to sit there and think about how I wanted to change myself and what I was going to do to change myself. And the number one thing was to let God work through me. And that's what I did. And there was a lot of times, when I got out of treatment, we lived with my mom. And I love you, Mom, but that's difficult.
In a one bedroom house.
In a one bedroom house. She gave us her bedroom and she slept on the couch. I mean, she really helped us out a lot. But there was one thing that I held on to, and I didn't let anything get in the way of that, and that was doing what I felt God was telling me to do with my life. A lot of times it probably sounded weird. It probably sounded like it made absolutely no sense and it wasn't realistic. As far as working, neither one of us had jobs. Um, we were living in my mom's house, and in all this, we were finishing up with DHS, and her kids were able to come stay with us, and then it moved into them living with us, and so things had to change, but while she was trying to not panic and my mom was on her butts, trying to tell us to hurry up and move out in a nice way, I stayed calm. I mean, we did kind of have a couple falling outs, me and my mom, but I prayed about it and just let God handle it for me. And that in turn, in praying for patience, being patient, that in turn has gotten us to where we are today. Um, and when I'm talking about growth, it's just like, last year being on the run, no job, had nowhere to live. We were homeless. To now where I've got a full-time job, going to school full-time, um, you know, going into recovery centers, taking meetings into recovery centers, part of the Human Services Club, kids in our life living with us and paying our bills on our own. All these things is just something to where it's an absolute miracle. And we couldn't do it by ourselves. And nobody in the bigger picture is able to help us other than God. Um, I have no idea where I was going with this.
It sounded good.
It was just a blabber, but the whole thing with me was it just thinking back on how much we've grown, and just sticking with it through the valleys, through the highs and the lows. Fortunately for me, it's like I said on my post on Facebook with Gross. I try and say this stuff in the most humble way that I can, because I'm no different than anybody else in this room. It's just I have put my trust in God and gave it all to Him, and the blessings and the open doors and all these things just continue to come. But I haven't really had any lows. Exhaustion from full-time school, full-time job, all this stuff, but it's good. It's a good kind of exhaustion. And I do know that when it comes to feeling like that I'm falling or something like that, then just to sit back and take a break. Not try and put all this stuff on all at once. I can do it in steps. I can do it in moderation. And just as long as I stick with that, then things are going to continue growing as they are today. So I'm done blabbering now. Thank you.
Thanks, Megan. I'm Courtney. I have 4 years and 6 months in recovery. I'm gonna go off with trusting the process. You know, everybody's recovery is different, and everybody gets different challenges in life during their recovery. And what I've learned is being sober, I can handle things a lot better now than I ever could in my addiction. I look at my life even a year ago. Yeah, it was a year ago that Chad had a motorcycle wreck and our lives were flipped upside down, and he got into Sober Soldiers in Des Moines, and we started going to church as a family, and to now, like, he's in prison and I have our son, and just how different our lives is, and how many times I could have thrown in the towel and said, well, fuck it. But because I have recovery time and a different train of thought today, and I can handle anything that's thrown my way because God gives me grace to handle it, life is a lot better and it's a lot more worth living, and you don't have all the chaos. And like Jess said when she was talking about running around being late to her court date, like, yeah, and then you get to the point where you're like, well, they already issued a warrant, so there's no point in going now. Like, I don't have to live life with that stress these days, and stress today, I'm not saying I don't have stress today, because I do. I have 3 grown children that grew up in addiction, so they have some chaos traits in their life still. And one of my daughters, she gives me a run for my money every day. Every time my phone rings and it's her name, I'm like, please, Jesus, come into this conversation. And I answer it, and she's always hysterical. And today I was just like, you know who she is? She is Courtney on meth, on an 8-day bender, ain't slept. And those are just all the behaviors. So I had to have a heart to heart with her today. Like, hey, I get you were in a car wreck. I get, but you are also a grown adult and you need some self accountability in life. And you can't attack the person that just accidentally hit you. You will go to jail. And just, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with any of that. But yeah, today my life's good. Today I get to parent my kids sober, and I get to see what my addiction's done to their life, and I don't let the guilt and shame eat me up over it. I own it, and I just try to be a better mother than I've ever been. And I really try with my one daughter to tell her, like, hey, you don't want to be that Courtney. You want to be like me today, a woman in recovery. And with that, I'm going to pass.
Thanks, Courtney. I'm Regina. I've been in recovery for 2 years and 8 months. And I really like the topic. And so far, I've liked what everybody has shared it. I'm in a kind of emotional spot because it's kind of along the same thing. The topic to me, what I heard was, well, I guess I can't remember exactly what your words were when you opened up, but I understand that. And 2 things came to my mind while you were talking, and that was to not lean on my own understanding and to count it all joy, which over the last 2 years, I've had to use those. I don't know what verses they are in the Bible, but they come to me when I need them to come to me, and I use them a lot to kind of regulate myself, or try to anyway, the best I can. And I guess that where my mind goes with this is this, that I've been in a really shitty relationship for a couple of years, and I wish I could remember what you said to open it up, but it's that fear, that walking through fear and not letting that fear consume me, which I've been led by fear my entire life. I feel like I always had something in my life to be scared of. And in regards to this, it's, the fear of the unknown. Probably I'm making a decision that I'm not 100% sure in, even though no matter what I try, God will not allow me to be comfortable in this situation, no matter what. And I can't. And I'm glad for that, because here's one thing that's different for me than almost 3 years ago, is that I actually love myself, or as much as I ever have, and I do have as much faith as God in my life than I ever had in my entire life. I've made strides in my spirituality and my attempt to walk to God with God and get to know God and talk to God and listen to the best of my ability, or maybe not even to the best of my ability, because there I know where I'm bucking up, and that's where my struggle comes in. Clinging on to something that is not meant for me, that what never was, and that never will be. So talk about like walking in through all this fear and like making a decision. I do feel better today than I have, but it's still rough, and I have been taking steps to like get myself, I guess, as independent and as I can at this point. And I appreciate the meeting tonight. I really needed to be here, and I think it was an excellent topic, and I'm excited to hear what everybody else has to say. So, pass.
Thank you. My name is Jennifer, and this is my first time. Um, thank you. I have about 2 hours, so. You want to share nothing else? Okay. Ooh, no one sat on me. Hi, my name's Rana. I have 241 days sober today. So, I went to my dad's house earlier today where Jenny lives, okay? And she's, she starts a job tomorrow, and she knows what she needs to do. It's not her first time, and she's just, it's a battle. She said, Rana, I had 3 weeks clean from alcohol. I said, awesome. She said, but look what I did. And I said, well, that's all right. Let's do something different. You want to go to this meeting with me? And she looked at me, she looked at the box, she's like, can I do that? I was like, yeah. She said, and then she's like, okay, I'll go. So I come back a couple hours later, and she said, I haven't had a drink since you left. I said, well, good. I said, even if you did, you did. I said, it's about what we're going to do now. She's like, all right. She said, I had mouthwash, I brushed my teeth, I did, I got gum. She says, do I look all right to go? I was like, you could be in your pajamas from 6 weeks ago. I said, it's not going to matter. I said, it's all about family here. I said it, and we've all been there. This meeting is the meeting that pulled me out of my darkest days. This meeting helped me see God again, helped me become one with Him again. And if it wasn't for that, I would not be here. I know that let go and let God is all I heard when you were speaking, but that's just it, and that's been my phrase since I got sober this time. You have to let go, and you have to let go of control. Unmanageables and manageables, those are my least favorite thing. Absolutely least. My control, I've realized how much control issues I have, and then I look at my children and I really see it. Yeah, it's a work in progress, and one big thing was I always had to see my part. What did I do? Because I always would, oh no, but it was them, or but they did this, or but what about that, or yeah, I didn't realize how bad I was about that. Yeah. But nowadays I pick up my pieces and I lay them down. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, and it's just 1 hour, 5 minutes at a time. The phone's 1,001 pounds, but you learn to pick it up. No, I'm proud of you. It's been 2 hours, 3.
I know, but I'm proud of you.
3 hours.
Super proud of you. She's a rock star. She's awesome.
And listen, it's not. I can't do it all by myself.
We don't always get along, but
no.
she's awesome.
But
Looks like a big step for you to come to this meeting tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Every Monday, and you got the schedule for the rest of them. So let go and let God, and we'll keep working on the rest.
Amen.
Yeah. Thanks.
Welcome, Candy. You shocked me.
Now my daughter's sitting behind you, just like every
I'm Kendi, and I have been in recovery for 140 days. So the whole let go and let God thing, that has been huge for me this time. It's not even being sober, it's being in recovery, because I've never really been in recovery, but this time around, like, I dove in head first, and I've been all about it since day one. Um, so, just trusting the process. And whenever you take a step back and look at like everything you have going on, because I too am a full-time student, I also have a job. I'm also very big in NA, AA, Bible studies, church, momming, appointments, all of it. And so it's like whenever you take a step back and look at like the big picture, it's like, whoa. But you just keep putting one foot in front of the other and doing one assignment at a time. And then all of a sudden it's like, wow, I'm all caught up on my assignments, or whoa, I'm all caught up. I'm just doing the damn thing, and it's so fulfilling to be able to actually do all this stuff. And like my lowest grade is a 95%, and it's just so amazing to be able to like give all my faith to God and trust that no matter what, as long as I don't pick up, I can do this. And so today I went to the doctor, and for the last 5 years, I thought that I've had hepatitis C, and the doctor today told me that no, that positive 5 years ago was a false positive. So I got told today I do not have hepatitis. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else. Everything is going super good. Our house is getting closer and closer to being done so we can move in. But yeah, that's all.
My name's Nate, and I got 161 days clean today. I just want to start off by saying God is good. Without God, this recovery process that I've been enduring for the last 61 days wouldn't be possible at all. If there's anything that I changed in the process of this at the very moment that I got sober, was that I accepted God back into my life and let him take control of the wheel, and understood that he was in control and that he would not lead me in any stray pattern or way. Another thing that I've changed is just trying to, read the word of the Bible and try to, walk in Jesus' footsteps as best as possible. Like Kenny said, we stay very active in church and recovery, with whether it be NAA, Silver Soldiers, just whatever it is. We stay active all week long. We go to groups. I still have one-on-one counseling every week, and all that stuff plays together to keep me sober today. 162 days ago, I tried to commit suicide, and the vision that I seen when I was dead was not what I imagined life to be after. And that was a lot of the big push, is that, as a young kid, my mom kept me in church and preached the Bible to us and whatnot. And, she always talked about the promise of the pearly gates with God standing there with his arms wide open. And that's not what I seen. So I knew my purpose in this world was, more fruitful than what I seen it to be. Because if not, God wouldn't have blessed me with a second chance at life. In the process of the recovery in the last 161 days, I've received numerous blessings from God. I'm getting ready to start up my own company. We bought a house about a month ago. He gave me the opportunity to put these hands to work to rebuild the house and remodel it to what we want and to make it our home. And obviously, a job to have the finances to be able to do so. So with that, all I can say is just one thing that's been fruitful for me is just changing my life over to God and being accepting of what he's going to do with his will and my way. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm Terry, a grateful recovering addict, but I'm also a child of God today, and that's I do a lot of NA, but I'm also expanding my horizon about my spirituality and trying to find more of what I found. I didn't always, not everything came from the rooms. I have to expand everything to continue to keep my recovery active. Because I've been here to just a few months shy of 21 years. And I'm just telling you that. I mean, yeah, that's a big deal to some people, but really it isn't to me, because that's not a promise. You know what I mean? So if I don't do something with my recovery and how I feel inside some days, then that can all go away pretty quickly. If I continue to not trust the process that everything will be okay as long as I don't use. If I use today, things probably not gonna be okay tomorrow. You know, it's just that spiraling effect that, you know, I got a 14-year-old granddaughter that counts on me for every single thing in her life. So, and I'm not willing to go tell her, well, sorry about your luck. You know what I mean? I can't. And that has kept me strong a lot. You know, and another thing that keeps me strong is attending a lot of different variety of recovery. And it's like it says there, not one size fits all, or not one recovery is great for, you know. So I have to bring a lot of things together for me, because I don't ever want to leave recovery. You know, but what I have to do is I have to work on it. I mean, it's like my car. You know, if I do not maintain that car, sooner or later something's going to break, or something's going to make it that I don't want it anymore. So so that's how I have to do my recoveries. I have to, you know, come to these things. Go, I just in a convention in just right outside East St. Louis. You know, I was able to, thank God for this one, was able to take my daughter with me to that convention. You know, because I wanted to show her the love that was shown to me. So because I was not a good dad to her. You know, I was a horrible dad to her. You know, and trying to make some of those wrongs right. You know, and I can never change what happened, but what I can do is develop a new relationship that's a better relationship with her, and knowing that'll never happen again for me. You know, and it's like tears me up because she has a lot of struggles with that, and so do I, because there's still some guilt there of, you know, like the abandonment issues. You know, she'll have that the rest of her life. You know, it's like a while back I go down and I made a special trip, drove St. Louis just for one reason, was to go down there and hold her hand. And I started praying, and she said, well, I'm not praying with you. Well, that's cool, you know, because I said, I need the right words for healing. You know, it ain't about me. I just want you to heal. And that's God. You know, I mean, that's God telling me to go do that, you know. I mean, because that's 5.5 hour drive, you know. And it's like, but again, you stick around in recovery and then you find out what is important, you know, like God's will, you know, what is important to Terry today. And that is taking care of some things that I didn't take care of when I should have. You know, in active addiction, I didn't take care of anything. You know, I left everything, things, you know, I got my son working for me now. And, you know, he is a product of me being an adult, but a child, you know. So it's like, when I found out she was pregnant, I left, you know. What does any child do? You know what I mean? I didn't know how to become an adult. But again, I talk about that. I share those experiences, you know, and I tell you, I'm going to Sober Soldierz tonight. And he says, he's got kind of a smile on his face. It's like, you know, because he knows what these things do to me. You know, it's like, man, I'm just waiting for the next chapter to be opened, you know, in my life, because I know everything will be okay. You know, I get to hang out with some great friends, you know, and girl, we love you. Yes. We want you in these meetings because you're valuable to us. You really are, you know. Just don't give up on yourself, because we won't give up on you. So, you know, that's what we're supposed to do around here. We're supposed to help each other and hold each other up tight. So, but other than that, I'm just excited to be here. I'm all kind of giddy and just excited, you know. So, but thank you for allowing me to be part of this thing, because it's like, you know, God is good today as long as I don't drive that bus. Thanks.
That's cute. You throw it? No. Hi, I'm Allison. I have 18 days today. And I'll just get back.
I'm Stephanie, and I have 9 days today. Um, I've been in treatment basically for about the last year and a half. I should have had a year and a half. I messed up about this time last year, and I just relapsed 9 days ago, 10 days ago. So I'm starting over. I'm still at the halfway house here in Newton. So I plan on getting back into my program stronger. I need to get back in my spirituality a lot stronger. I think I started losing my focus on a lot of things and just concentrating on working and slacking on some other things. So that's my goal now. Just put my focus back on God and doing what I need to do for me to stay sober. Because I know I can do it. I know I'm strong enough, and I'm happy to be here tonight. It's my first time here. I've been one in Des Moines before, but it's my first one here, so I'm gonna keep coming back. So thank you.
Hi, I'm Jen, and I have 16 months today. I'm actually at the Phoenix house. I graduated on the 14th, but I kind of drug my feet a little bit because this is a new chapter for me, and it's kind of scary at first. But I got an apartment. I moved to it today. I don't know. God's been very good to me. I've been with this guy here for about 17 years. It's been rough. It's been very rough. Most of it was an active addiction, but we've both got sobriety now, and it's so much better. And, I'm blessed to still have him and to be on this path with him. I guess my biggest blessing, besides my sobriety, is I was a nurse's aide for a long time, and then it was taken away with my addiction because I just couldn't keep it up. But when I moved to Newton and had some sobriety behind me, I had 4 or 5 different interviews, and I got turned down from all of them because of my background. And then a memory care unit gave me a chance, and I'll be there a year, December 30th. So I'm just very blessed. And I got another call today that I got hired at Phoenix House, where I just graduated from. So I'm just going to pick up like a couple of days a month, but it's still going to keep me, and I can give back to others because I know the struggle. So things are going good. So I'm just very blessed and glad to be here. Congratulations. Thank you.
Dang, woman. I'm Jeremy. I have 5 years. I don't know. It's been 5 years. But man, I guess when we talk about like trusting the whole process and how it works, man, I was just so fleshly and wanted everything right now. Through my addiction, through the first part of my recovery. When I first got indicted, I was freaking out, man. I was like, man, that's 120 months seems like a long time, and I'm 50, so I'm like, and I laid it down, and things started coming to me. I had to wait. I had to put faith in him and put trust in him, and know that he's walking with me. And I just got something in the mail when I was in prison, and it says, you got 14 months off of your prison sentence. And I was like, man, see right there, he gave me a short sentence. I sat down and prayed and put the trust in and said, man, please help me, please walk with me. And he gave me a 57-month sentence, when I could have, like I said, had 120 months. And, not only that, but like I guess the trust in the process, like now, like my relationship with Jen has got way good, because it used to be crazy. I mean, it used to be wild. And like my kids, I have the best relationship with my daughters now as I've ever had. They're older, they're 18, and stuff like that, but I mean, I'm glad I at least got it now, and I wasn't always there for mine either. And I wasn't the best of fathers, but now I think they look at me as a man, and that it took time for that to happen. I think it's weird, but I think when we pray, we expect things right now, and it's oddly enough to say, I think them messages take just a second to get to God and work, You know what I mean? And we just got to lay things down and just put trust in him. And I think that the process will always come if we put all trust in him. That's how I feel. You.
I'm Leslie. I am Jimmy's wife. Thank you, Benji and Jess, for facilitating the meeting. Jenny, thank you for coming. We're really glad you're here, and we hope you come back. And if you need anything in between, reach out to any of us. I don't know if you're on Facebook. Soldierz has a group, and if you can go there, you can reach out to any of us. And the thing I heard the most was surrender and patience. And those aren't easy, but I'm really proud of all of you. And thank you for coming. Yeah.
I'm Jake. I've got 120 days today. And just kind of piggyback off of what everybody's saying. Patience and stuff is not easy. It's the worst thing, actually, when you're going through legal battles or whatever, have it may be. And like myself, I mean, this last year has been so far up and down, it's not even funny. It's been 3 of us 5 months either in jail or treatment or dealing with DHS. I was home for 3 weeks out of treatment, and a patch test came back with stuff still in my system. They accused me of it, removed me from my house, in which that now has reversed because they've done another patch test. So I'm back home with my kids and family, and actually got a job. Thanks to Rana helping me do that. But, so now I'm back to work, and things do turn around. And just the patience and trusting of it seems to drag on and on forever while you're sitting there in limbo, but it will work out if you just trust the process and keep coming back. And these meetings also, I mean, they do help a lot with the stressors and the thinking you can't do stuff when you really can. There's people who care. It took me a long time to understand that myself. I was one that's, this 120 days is the longest I've been sober since I was 14 years old. So it's it does help a lot, and just keep coming back, keep working it, and things will happen the way they're supposed to. So there's that plan for us all. So.
I just wanted to, obviously everybody in here heard it, but anybody online, because the mic wasn't working, I just want to remind everybody of the testimony night on Tuesday, November 25th. Jess, Jenny, and Susan at Destiny Church in Valley Junction. And then the Thanksgiving Breaking Bread Thursday, November 27th for Thanksgiving at First Church the Open Bible. Doors open at 3. Bring something to share. Drop off leftover, or what's that say?
They can drop off leftovers if they know any restaurants or anybody.
Oh, okay.
Family that had leftovers.
So you can bring leftovers to the church to share if you'd like. What's that say?
Food at 7 o'clock.
Food at 7 o'clock. And also, it doesn't matter if you're in recovery. It doesn't matter if you're drunk, high. Please come. We want everybody to be able to spend Thanksgiving with the family. Somebody that cares. We don't want anybody spending Thanksgiving alone. So please come join us. And so, yeah, I guess we'll circle up and close out the meeting.
Yep. I'm proud of you. Okay. Wait, can we just get on the wheelchair? Sure. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm called out. Whose Father?
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
All right. Everybody have a blessed evening. God and recovery must come first. Good night, everybody.